I talked about the idea of searching for lessons. And we know that in this time that we're in, being able to find those curriculum-focused, age-appropriate lessons online can be a challenge. There's an absolute fire hose of things that are being shared out there, but knowing that your lessons and ideas are curriculum-focused and age-appropriate is so important. And this is where Mathology.ca really helps you. So on this page, you'll see a search. It looks almost like a Google search. And this is one of the first ways you can search for great lessons within Mathology.ca. And so I'm actually going to type in a keyword search. I'm just putting in addition for now, and I'm hitting the search button. What you'll see is search results. So a lot fewer than the mountain of lessons that you're seeing online through Google search right now. There's what you can see here are 129 results found for addition. I'm just going to scroll down a little bit so you can see the types of lessons that we have in here. And you probably are thinking now, well, how do I narrow that down to exactly what I want? And so underneath this search bar, you will see 3 ways that you can actually sort these down and find exactly what you want. The first one is to sort by grade. So on the left-hand side, I'm going to click, and you'll see that you can all, which is what I currently have there. You can look at K, grade 1, and grade 2. Those are the grades that are currently in Mathology.ca at the moment, and we're building more all the time. So if I go into grade 1, you'll see that our search has narrowed down to 18 results in grade 1. You may want to narrow that search down even further. And so you want to look at the type of lesson. So I'm going to click on that. You can see that there are activities in here. There are consolidations that you would use near the end. We have math little books in here as well as interventions. And so I'm going to narrow it down to little books for now. And you can see that we have 7 math little books that look at addition in grade 1. And you can also narrow that down further by strand. So number, patterning, measurement, geometry, and data management. So if I look at number, it should be the same, 7. So that is one of the fastest ways to find exactly what you're looking for, is the keyword search by grade, type, and strand. I'm going to go back to the top under search results and take a step back. One other way I want to share with you today on how to find really great lessons, and that's by curriculum. We know that it's important to try to stick as close to the curriculum as possible over the next trying couple of weeks and months. And so this search will be really helpful for you. I'm going to hit the search by curriculum button that you see there. Now today, I am in an Ontario version of Mathology.ca. Every province has its very own version of Mathology.ca with their own curriculum in there. So if you're in Alberta, what will come up will be the Alberta curriculum. If you're in BC, same thing. So today, what you're seeing here is the Ontario curriculum. And you can see that you can search by grade, grade 1 or grade 2. I'm going to choose grade 1. You can see the strands currently as they exist as of today across the top. And then down below will be the overall expectation. So if we stay in number sense and numeration, and you click on the very first overall expectation, a pop-down menu will show you all the expectations that support and live under that overall. And beside each one of these specific expectations, you'll see a magnifying glass, and that is your search button. So I'm going to hit the search button right away. And so for that specific expectations, you'll find that there are 10 lessons that support it. So really rich resources and lessons that support that. So that is a really great way of searching and making sure that these lessons are supporting your curriculum. So we've taken a really quick walk through search and better ways and easier ways, more efficient ways to find what you're looking for. The next piece of this overview is I'm going to take you for a quick walk through two different lessons. One lesson that looks at one of our math little books, and one lesson that looks at our activities. So first, I'm going to go to Paddling the River, which is one of our math little books. For Paddling the River, a lesson looks like this. Across the top, you'll see an About, which we'll walk through, a Details page, which we will also discover, and some related resources. It's pretty simple. So under the About, you'll see what this book is about. You'll also see that it's a grade 1 book, and it's looking at number. You can also look at reading level, and this will be the reading level from Fountas and Pinnell. As you scroll down, you'll see the math focus. So this little book looks at counting, comparing, and ordering to 20, also composing and decomposing to 20. So a rich resource there. Your curriculum, and this is your match to your curriculum here as well. The processes and competencies from your curriculum. And earlier in this webinar, I mentioned the learning progression. So this is your developmental continuum of math understanding upon which all of our resources were built. This is where you can take a look at that learning progression and know exactly where this little book stands. So across the top, you'll see the big idea. Numbers are related in many ways. And the concept that is being uncovered here compares more or less and orders quantities to 10 and uses ordinal numbers and names. So it's great to see exactly where you are on that continuum. That's a quick overview of the book. In the details, you'll get a little bit more information about this little book. Ideas about what to talk about as you share the story. And then you also have, on the left-hand side here, a read-aloud version of this little book that you can share. And I'm going to actually share this with you and let you see what that looks like. So this is the read-aloud version of Paddling the River. You have an option to read and listen and try an activity. I'll show you both. So under Read and Listen, you'll see there, each page of the math little book here is represented in a 2-page spread. And across the bottom, you'll have an audio player here. We're going to play page 2.
I get in our canoe slowly. My sister watches me. Then she does the same. We push off and start to paddle. What will we see on this long and winding river?
Okay, well, we'll stop paddling the river there. And you can see that this is a great resource that you can, if you are doing an online learning opportunity, maybe having a webinar with your students, this is a way of showing it. And a little bit later in this webinar, I'll show you how we've actually shared this a little book with parents and teachers during this time. We also have try this activity. This can be fun and in an online environment also. So this is an activity that both teachers and parents can try with their students at home. You'll see there's an audio section on the side that can read this activity aloud.
Which group has more? Look at the counters below. Which group has more counters? Which group has fewer counters? Count to check.
And there's
Go to the next page.
We will go to the next page, but you might be wondering right now, are there any supports for teachers and parents on this page? We're not all math teachers, and so this might be helpful. On the right-hand side at the top, you'll see teacher and parent notes. Nice drop-down menu with some ideas and some prompts for this activity at home. And so we will go back. So that's Paddling the River. You have a chance on the lesson page with some information on the first read and how to introduce the book, which is really important. And under related resources, you'll get some more things that I think will be helpful as we proceed over the next coming weeks and months. Some ideas for the after the read, but also additional activity options. So we have a lot of line masters here. You'll see that there are actually 12. Each one of these line masters are here in PDF and Word. PDF, you can simply click on one, and I'm going to do that now under Line Master 11 Story Template. When I click on PDF, you'll see a story template that you can print off, and then you can upload into whatever means you will have for sharing with your students over the coming weeks. So that is really handy to have access to. And you also have that same one in Word. So if I click on Word, Depending on what type of computer you have, I think you just saw mine get dropped down into downloads. It downloads it. This one's really handy if you want to modify it or have your students go in and use it and modify it. Take a screen grab and send that back in. So there's a few ideas on how you can use the Math Little Books for some online learning over the next couple of weeks. One other thing I'm going to share with you. You're probably wondering one other thing. How do I have access to these Math Little Books? Because currently they live online within Mathology.ca. I think it was last week, we actually made our Math Little Books available for parents, knowing that it's important to have these Math Little Books at home. So for your students to have these at home, if you scroll up to the very top of this page, this went live today. We have a link that goes to our Pearson at Home page. So I'm going to click on that now. And you'll see all the resources available to teachers and parents at home. In particular, we're talking about the Mathology Little Books in both English and French for grades K to 3. I'm going to click on that link. And this takes you to a page that we are updating every week. This is all of our Math Little Books in one place. So far, we have 4 Math Little Books at kindergarten, 4 at grade 1, 4 at grade 2, as well as 4 at grade 3. To support parents at home and to have some ideas on how they can use these Math Little Books, when you click on the little book cover, it takes you to the read aloud, which I just showed you. But there's also a really great link that says parent info underneath. And when you click on that, it brings up a printable line master. Again, giving some really great tips on connecting home and school, on how to read the story, retelling it, should you want to use it this way. We also have some really great line masters here that they could also make use of. So there's a warm, cozy nest math mat, for instance. And a mini book template. So again, trying to help as much as possible with this new environment that we're living in. Those are our Math Little Books. I'm going to go right up to the top. Whenever you want to go back, you can go back using the back arrow here, or your fastest way to get back to your home screen is simply to scroll up to the top and hit home, which I'm going to do. I mentioned that we'd take a look at an activity. We'll look at that today. I'll click on it. You can see it's on my desktop here. Very similar to the Math Little Books, we have a lesson structure that is pretty standard with every activity, and I'll walk you through it. There's an about, there's a details, there's an assessment, and related resources. There's a wealth of information on every one of these lessons. Today, again, we're going to try to focus you as much as possible on what can be done over the next couple of weeks. So I won't be showing you everything, but just the most essential things to get started today. About the lesson, important to know what this lesson is about. Again, this one I'm looking at is a grade 2 activity. Content background, really helpful for those maybe who don't have a math background. The focus for the lesson, the curriculum connections, as well as, again, the learning progression. And you can see here this activity unpacks the same big idea. Quantities and numbers can be added and subtracted to determine how many or how much. And then when you look at the concepts below, there's 2 concepts being unpacked. So this is a really rich activity that helps support student learning in math. So that's about the lesson. When you get into details, you'll see the lesson itself. And so across the top, you'll see in red the strand for that lesson. In green, you'll see the materials that you need. This will really help you do your planning up front in a very simple way. It talks about a student card, which I'll show you shortly. It will also link to your line masters right on this page. So you can see there's a 10 frame here in a PDF and Word that you can download and print and post. There's a multi-use card here, which is a part whole mat, also useful. Some assessment pieces, some really great supports there should you want to use them, linked right on the page. Just below, you'll see a 3-part lesson with instructions on how to do this activity. Your before, what to do during, ideas on differentiation, and on the right-hand side in blue, consolidation. How do I know my students have learned what I hope they would learn, that consolidation piece is critical. And the what to look for, those watch fors for ongoing assessment, should you do that in this setting. And at the bottom, some really great probing questions that you can ask students to get a better understanding of what they're thinking in math. I'm going to continue to scroll down, and you'll see there's some images here. Not all of these you will make use of in this setting, but I'm going to share with you some of them that I think you'll find useful. I'm going to click on the student piece here that you can take a look at, but you can also print. And so if you want to share this with students at home, you have a print version here, as well as really handy math tools such as 10 frames and that part whole math. We've also shown you what a completed activity looks like, which is really helpful for both teachers and parents as well. The other piece that may come in handy as we figure out what online learning looks like will be the interactives. So if you have a chance to meet face-to-face using something like Zoom with your teachers, these interactives, I think, can be helpful. So I'm going to click on, at the very bottom, Pearson Canada 10 Frames tool. And here you have access to a 10 frame tool that you can make use of in a live setting, which will be quite helpful. And get us back to our main page. So those are some of the things you can do around the lesson for this activity. Everyone learns and takes in information differently. I'm someone who loves to read, so I would actually read through these lessons and try to get a sense of where I want to go with this. But there's another way that you can unpack this lesson in a much more visual and a short way. On the right-hand side, we've created some learning highlights videos that really show you in a very quick and concise way what this activity is about, what it looks like in action. And so this is great professional learning for you. And I'm going to play this short video so you can see that every activity that we have in Mathology.ca has this type of video on the right-hand side at the top.
Let's take a look at this problem. Last year, I ordered 25 ribbons for field day. This year, I want to order 11 more. How many ribbons should I order? Students may start with modeling the problem using linking cubes, then draw ribbons on the think board. They then represent the problem with an addition sentence. 25 plus 11 equals 36. Some students may immediately know how to write and solve the addition sentence. However, these students may struggle to explain their thinking. You may need to ask prompting questions to help them explain their thinking. These students could also benefit from seeing how others represent the problem using pictures or concrete materials and number sentences. To consolidate, have students share the strategies they used to add the quantities. Help them see that there are multiple ways to show, model, and solve the problem. For those students who require additional support on creating and solving story problems, refer to Intervention Activity 12.
So you can see that it's a short video that really helps unpack what is happening in this activity and how to use it. The last piece on this lesson I'm going to share with you is under related resources here on the right-hand side. You may get a chance to use some of these if you wish, and these are really helpful for next steps with your students. We have some great mini lessons, some that are on grade, some that are intervention questions, and some extensions as well. And you can see that it's a really short mini lesson that you can use and also print. We've provided some tips around possible misconceptions with this lesson, some ideas for next steps. It says next steps in class, so you may not want to reference that, but these next steps at home are really helpful in this setting as well. So here are some ways to help parents as they, if they would like to help their students with this, and you can print those off and again, post them in whatever format you desire. There's a word wall support and some ideas around related lessons that might help. So that's a really quick walkthrough of activities. The last stop on our journey today, I talked about the ability to grab some really great plans that will help you over the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to go right to the very top, and you can see I'm on a tab that says Plan. When I click on that, you'll see there's most recent plans and all plans. I'm going to take us into all plans. When we developed Mathology.ca, we really wanted to help teachers plan for whether it's a year, a month, or a week. And I'm going to scroll down. You can see we've created a lot of sample plans for you. In our former setting, these would take you through a full year if you wanted to use them. Often when you're learning a new resource, it's great to have a plan already made for you until you get used to it. You have a chance, once you're used to it, to create your own. But today we're just going to focus on 2 pre-made plans that we've made for you that can take you over the next couple of weeks as we get used to our new normal. And they're right here under My Plans. There's one that says Grade 1 Purposeful Practice and one that says Grade 2. So we're going to go into Grade 1 first. So in this Grade 1 Purposeful Practice, so again, this is the idea of in this setting where we're learning how to do online learning, we really need to take a step back and help support ourselves and our students, and looking at and reviewing some of the places where they've been this year that really need some reinforcement that they may be familiar with, to make them comfortable in this new environment. We've chosen some activities and some content that we think will really help you over the next couple of weeks. So on the left-hand side, you can see you have a couple of weeks worth of lessons here. One that starts with composing and decomposing with number. There's one for counting, as well as investigating repeated patterns, operational fluency, skip counting, as well as operational fluency. So there's quite a bit here. I am under the composing and decomposing. So in the middle section, you can see this is where your lesson is housed. We talked about paddling the river already. You can link directly to that lesson here. You can also write a bit of a comment there. And you can see that you have some great lessons under composing, decomposing. We will go to counting, and you'll see we have a new book and a few new activities. So this is really great in helping you go back and really help reinforcing some important concepts and skills for your students over the next couple of weeks. One other thing I'm going to share with you on this Grade 1 and Grade 2, if you scroll across to the top, you'll see a circle here with 3 buttons. When you click on that, you're able to find out your curriculum coverage. Of course, this is a really short plan that's going to get you through the next couple of weeks. So this one really plays well when you're building your plan for a year. There's a material list that you can print off. You can share this plan with your team. Anyone who has a Mathology.ca trial license, you can share, and you can export that as well. So we took a look at a Grade 1 Purposeful Practice lesson that's grab and go. I'm going to scroll back, and you can see we also have built one for Grade 2. And it looks very much the same. We're looking at the same types of concepts for Grade 2. And we have some new resources in here as well that you can access. Just so you know, we have chosen for this plan all the little books currently that are in that at home. So you know that the students are going to have those books at home. And the last thing I'm going to share with you is the ability to put these lesson plans on your front page. And so you'll see these pins here. This allows you to actually pin a plan. I'm going to scroll back for a moment. This is the easiest way to do it. So you'll see there's a pin here. I've already attached the Grade 2 Purposeful Practice to my home page. So what does that look like, and why does this help me? It helps me grab and go even faster. You can pin a plan. You can pin a little book and an activity. So you have your plan here, so you can grab and go. You have paddling the river, which I just walked you through, as well as that activity right there. You can always pin about 3 things at once. And so being able to pin those and make this even more streamlined for you is really important. So that is our really fast walkthrough of Mathology.ca, how you can search and find really good activities, how you can engage your students with these resources, and how you can plan efficiently and quickly over these next couple of weeks as we see how this is all going to play out.